Oh my gosh, it's episode 100. Sorry for screaming. Oh my gosh, you will have to watch the video of that because I am truly gonna regret doing that, but I bet it looks really cool. There is so much confetti everywhere. I was going to buy, oh my gosh, it's like coming out of the ceiling. I was going to buy one of those like, like boom, shoot, and the confetti comes out. But I started to read it and I was like, for outdoor use only. And I was like, with my luck, I'd like ruin the new light that got put in here. So we're not going to do that. But we have, yay! Confetti everywhere because we're so excited. It's the 100th episode. Oh my gosh. Like I can't believe it. It's such an exciting moment and I'm at such a turning point in my life. I feel like that I really moving forward want to be more like authentic, raw, real, and there's lots of orbs floating around too, if you notice that as well. Anyways, this is going to be a fun episode. I have a huge outline, so honestly, I might be yapping for a while, but that's okay because I know that if you're listening to this, you like to listen to me yap. So, oh my gosh, the confetti is so crazy. I only did half the bag too. There's like this whole bag of confetti. It was like $2. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to hide that for my kids. So, podcasting, 100 episodes. A lot of people don't do that. And a lot of people don't, like when they start a podcast, they're not consistent with it. So I have posted every single week, except for one, in the last, it'll be 2 years technically next month. And the 100th episode will air on August, whatever that Tuesday is. End of August. Oh, 26th. It's the 26th when the 100th episode. And actually, I started, the very first episode was September 26, 2023. So, according to some podcast statistics that I looked up, and who knows how accurate they are, over 450 million people listen to podcasts in 2023, and that number is expected to reach 619 million by 2026. So I would assume like end of the year next year, which I totally can see that because myself, I never listened to podcasts before, honestly, before my spiritual awakening. And, I think a lot of people I know would listen to like true crime or podcasts about like gossip or celebrities or shit like I don't care about. So I was never really interested in them. I can't tell you. I'm trying to remember like the first like there was a couple podcasts that I listened to a lot at first. And it was one of those things where I'd go back and binge all of their episodes because they were basically kind of on the same journey that I have been on the past few years. But they were just a couple steps in front of me. So like, that's kind of the vibe that I wanted to do here. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to continue. Oh my gosh, there's confetti everywhere. I'm going to continue to share my journey and, hopefully it reaches women that are like listening and they're like, oh my gosh, like this is me, this makes sense. And just seeing how far you can come and how much you can change in a year is just so crazy. But apparently there's an average of 30,000 new shows a day that people start, but 90% of podcasters don't make it past episode 3. And the ones that do, like 90% of them will drop off after episode 20. So it's something that they start and never really stick with. I honestly love it because I love to just sit here and talk. It is so easy for me to do. And it's just so, I like long form content. It is easier for me to get out what I'm trying to say or what I'm feeling or whatever in, 20 or 30 minutes as opposed to one like little reel on Instagram, which, we're getting better at that. But making it to 100 episodes is huge. It just shows like how much, like consistency and how actually interested I am. Because I make $0 like from the podcast. It's not like I have episodes or anything, you know what I mean? In that sense, but in the sense that people are finding me through the podcast or listening to my podcast and then like buying ratings or whatever. And then obviously that's a good good little funnel to get people in, in your, I was gonna say doorstep, but like, like into your business, whatever. There's just like a magic getting able to listen to someone like yourself and, seeing if you really vibe with them and like them. And there are a handful of podcasts I listen to right now, like regularly. And oh, there's another one. And those, women are on, it's so crazy to me because a lot of them are around their like 300th and some episode or whatever. Ironically, a lot of the, so it's almost like that same concept where it's like the people that are just like a couple steps ahead of you or whatever, you're like really inspired or encouraged by them to keep going because you're like, oh my gosh, like she did that. She got to, 200 episodes and 300 episodes and look how different her life is and look at how much she's, helping other women in like this totally awesome different way and paving a road not traveled at all. Paving a road? Well, sure, paving or it's like walking down the road. I don't know. Building new things. Like obviously this path I am going down is very different. It is not traditional. I don't want it to be traditional. Regular shit bores the hell out of me and I'm not here for it. I'm here to help women align just with their higher self and their higher truth and to really like forge a path for people to go on in this like new earth that we want to experience where there's more, that 5D consciousness. One of my episodes, I might link that one, or it was a guest podcast I was on. But I talk about, 3D and 5D concepts, which I think is really interesting to learn and kind of like see where you're at on that spectrum. Is like, are you feeling more compassion towards others? Are you feeling more jealousy? Are you, have a certain perception around money? And do you think there's a lack of it? Do you think there's an abundance of it? In a wonderful 5D world, there's a lot more just like community and people are listening to themselves. I think that's the biggest piece for me is not listening to outside influences and really just listening to yourself and trusting yourself. That has been one of the biggest pieces of my own journey, which I'm going to talk about a little more at the end. Kind of getting ahead of myself now, but I say that a lot too. Just peeling back the layers and finding out who you authentically are at your core under all this fucking programming and limiting beliefs. And I'm trying to think like generational trauma and things like that, or anything you could have experienced in your life. I'm so glad my neighbor's mowing right now. Oh my God. Hopefully you don't hear that. I don't think that you will hear that over the podcast. But man, 100. Why the hell did I start this? That's a fun story. So back in 2023, I actually had the ping to do it in 2022. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. And I, well, it's 2022. 2022 was like, oh my gosh, like I quit my corporate job. I started a totally new thing. I had like an identity crisis. I feel like I'm in an identity crisis the past 3 years. Um, and really, I was just probably scared. And I really didn't know what I was doing at that point in my business. Like I'm trying to even think of the very first thing I offered. I know I did like a little course thing. It was called like Reconnect, and they were like little 4-week things about kind of just like reshaping how you view things in your life. And that was great and all, but I also, a lot of the things I have come to find out that I have offered, there's too much of like somebody else like in it, and it's less of like what I have created, if that makes any sense. Like when I'm reading astrology or like human design, I love that stuff and it's so interesting to me, but when I'm trying to provide something to a client, I'm like, okay, like this feels like it's missing like a piece of me essentially. So when we get to 2023, I think I have a random episode that I recorded in January 2023. I should honestly listen to it. Because I never posted it. I never actually did that. I found out I was pregnant with my second child, my son, in November of 2022. So that's also probably why I was like, maybe we're not doing this now. But, the ping, it kept coming back. I was like, I don't even know where this is going to go, what the hell I'm going to talk about. But I finally decided, when I was probably delusional with little amounts of sleep after having a newborn, that it was time to actually launch the podcast. And the podcast first came out, it was Midwest Manifesting Mama, which was my handle at the time and the name that I had been using for my business because that was the initial idea that I had. And so September 2020, September 26, 2023, which happened to be a day before my birthday, was my very first episode called Let Me Introduce Myself. And I had a little 2-month-old. So you can see, here's me, September 21st, 2023, recording. And I've got a little tiny baby. Like, who is that girl? Her name is Little Baby. So you'll have to see that on the YouTube video. I will probably share that on my Instagram at some point too. But that's where we started. And at first I was just talking about, I remember, talking about my like offering, reconnect, and just things I have learned and I thought were useful. And then I started to have some guests on, and I've had a handful of guests. I didn't even count that. I was going to count how many guests I have. That's okay, you guys know it's quite a bit. So I do want to talk about some of like my statistics and things like that and demographics. So this is off of Spotify, but this is, my audience over all time. And I didn't refresh it today. Okay, I'm like, hey guys, let's refresh this. Because I know I had over 800 streams. And I was like, oh, that would be so cool to get to 1,000 before my 100th episode. But I was close. It was like 820. So it's at 820 today. It takes a little bit to kick in. So over 800, which for a girl that doesn't really have a big following, that's a lot of episode streams over, the past couple of years. And I obviously see that increasing quite a bit once I step into more of a leadership role and more authentically myself, as that's been the journey, right? That's been the whole journey. So 95% of my listeners of all time are female. Hey girls. And that's honestly, that's my target audience. That's the person I want to work with, is women, because that's who I relate to the most. And I think there's something so magical about being a woman and the feminine side of things, and I love it. And I'm going to talk more about that later as well. 60% of listeners are 28 to 34. So right in my people the same age as me. Interesting. Most people listen via Apple Podcasts. And then this is where people are listening from, like across all platforms. 89.6% of listeners are from the United States, which makes sense because that's where I live too. 39.7% are from Iowa. Woo! That's also where I live. So shout out to my fellow Iowa girlies. But there are 30 other states that have tuned into, which is so cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just 20 away from 50. And that's all of them. So that's pretty damn good for this little bitty baby podcast. And then 18 other countries around the world have listened besides the United States. And the top 3 were Canada, Malaysia, and the United Kingdom, which Canada makes sense because they're right next door. And I honestly, I've noticed, besides the women in the United States, I feel like the most like the people I connect with or the podcasts that I listen to, there are so many Canadian women, so many Australian women. And yeah, like those are the 2 biggest ones I think like I personally just connect to the most. And like I said, over 800 streams and downloads, which is, again, pretty good for my little baby podcast. The most listened to episode was episode 30. So that was with Angela, and it was Transforming Motherhood, A Journey to Happiness. I love that. That was one of my, not like the first one, but one of my first guest episode back in 2023? That might have been early 2024. Right? I'm like, mouth's hard. I don't know what year. The second most listened to episode was my very first one. So like, let me introduce myself. I feel like that was the lamest fucking title ever. But you kind of know what you're getting when you listen to that one. I haven't listened to it lately, but I think it'd be interesting too. I honestly should before this officially comes out again, just for shits and giggles. 3 other episodes that were like my top. So I put 5 as my most listened to. Episode 79 with Emily the Mystic. That is a really good one. Episode 64 with Danielle, and that's all about like overcoming fear and embracing authenticity. Really, really good one too. And then the 5th spot goes to my girl Ashley. Our podcast, we talk about Reiki and Akashic Records. So that was one that was very listened to as well. And I cannot wait to have, I'm going to have Ashley on again in the next, some point this year. I'm like in the next, I don't know how many weeks or whatever, but that'll be fun. I think it'll be so fun to also, there's some guests I definitely want to have back just to see. So you can like also see too how far they have come in their journey, what different things they're offering, what they're doing, like how has life been treating them since, they were last on and things like that. I think that's really interesting, especially when you listen to one episode and you're like, oh, I really liked that person. Like they had a cool vibe. And then you're like, oh my gosh, like what is she doing now? Look at all this. Like, look at all this stuff she's doing. So I might link them, or I might just be lazy and put the episode numbers and you figure figure it out yourself. There's only 100 to go through, you know? But speaking of re-listening to the first episode, like how have I changed from the first episode to now? All right, get your popcorn out and your tea. September 2023, I had a 2-month-old baby. Why in the fuck I thought it was a good time to start a podcast? No idea. That's truly beyond me. I was probably so tired and delusional that I was like, well, what's another thing? It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's hard to, oh my gosh, excuse me. It is hard to kind of remember, like when you're in the trenches of that, like the farther away from it you get to, because I hardly remember like the first few weeks of my daughter's life. Not like in a bad way, but like I do remember things, but it's a lot more clear since my son's younger. And I mean, we just went through that 2 years ago. How, we we would sleep with him just like on our chest, like sitting on the couch, because I didn't want to like sleep with him like when I was laying down, because I didn't want to like him to roll off me or something. You know what I mean? So like I slept basically like propped up, and my husband would sleep with him like until, I don't know, midnight or something. And then we would like trade spots, and then like I would sleep with him the rest of the night, because he would, this is probably about 2 or 3 months when he was eating like longer. There were longer breaks between eating, is what I was trying to say. But yeah, he didn't, and I can't complain because my kids have been great sleepers like overall, but he didn't sleep in his own room until he was like 5 months old, I think. So yeah. So why podcasting 2 months old? Oh my gosh. Maybe I was bored. Not in the sense of like, because babies just like sleep and eat, and they're cuddly little cute human beings. But I probably wanted to, just follow the pings I'm getting and actually do something about it. And like I said, it was something that I knew I was going to do, didn't know what it was going to turn into, but I knew it was going to last a long time. Like, this is just the beginning, and these are just like the, initial episodes, and what I'm planning on doing for quite some time, depending on, wherever this journey takes me. Because right now I'm really liking this, and I find it really easy to share over this, and I want to continue to do that and to be, an example or someone you can relate to and think, okay, if she did this or got through this, like, maybe I can do it too. And just being a place, where like you can listen to once a week and not feel overwhelmed, or I don't know, like you have to do something. But knowing that I'm following whatever, like, I don't know. I have an idea of obviously what I want this to look like down the road, but the picture isn't like super clear, because I feel like the timelines are always changing, and there's infinite possibilities of, ouch, of where things can go, and you could wake up and things could be completely different tomorrow. But I know that no matter what happens, like, I'm always going to be guided down the path that I need to go. And for me, it's most likely going to be stuff that nobody has done before. Not like ever, but non-traditional things that people in my real life probably can't comprehend or won't understand, and that's fine. I That's something I've kind of mostly gotten over. Mostly gotten over because when you think about it, we get so caught up, those of us that like have this desire to start our own thing and start our own businesses, and you can take it super personally when your family or friends just like aren't supportive. Like sometimes I'm just like why aren't people in my life sharing my stuff more or sharing my podcast? Like there's been a handful of times when like one of my friends or family members has actually fucking shared my podcast like on social media or something. But it's like the people you've never met or don't know are your biggest fucking cheerleaders in business, because they're just like, those are the people that you're attracting. It's not a knock on your friends and family, but I mean, like, I have certain friends and family that have always been very supportive, even if they don't understand it, and I love you guys. But maybe they're not meant to, and that's something I've had to, come to, like, what am I trying to say? That's something I've just come to terms with. That's like, what are the words? What is the verbiage? And let's be completely honest, it is episode 100, and I don't think all of my family and friends fucking know I have a podcast. I think that's funny. It's not really funny, but I just like, the people that don't know, it's like, you're definitely not my target audience. So I don't really care if you know or not. Obviously when things get bigger and, people do start to get interested, or if they don't, like, I don't care. Like, I'm literally here to help a specific person on their journey at the specific, like, with specific things. And this is me doing my work. Like, this is me at my job. And it makes you also think about, with your friends and family, do you ever ask them like, I mean, most people are like, how's your job going or whatever, but they're not like, I don't know, like really asking questions. I'm trying to think of like anyone in my life. I mean, like the only person, my husband, I know a lot about his work, but that's because I hear it from him. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like I'm asking my friends. I mean, I might be asking like, how's work going? Not like all the time though, because like honestly, that's like my least favorite thing about my friends, my family. It's just like what they do. Like that's not why, that's not what everything's built upon. So that's why, yeah, like as my girlies who are starting their own things and doing shit, like awesome cool shit like me, you can't take it personally. And it's okay. You will attract the people that are supposed to find you, supposed to listen to you, and blah, blah, blah. I don't even know where the hell this tangent came on, because I was talking about why I started it. How much have things changed for me from 2 years ago, that little 2-month-old baby, until now? A year of that, I felt like barely getting by. And now the fact that my son is 2, I almost feel like a brand new human. You know what I mean? Just like, he's not so, he's a little clingy, which I like. Like, I want him to cuddle mom still. Because that's not gonna last forever. Your kids are only little for so long. Your grandkids are only little for so long. Ooh. Like, they're gonna grow up, your kid, and it's just so special. And I'm like, oh. Even my mom and I were talking about, my son is the sweetest. He is so sweet. He'll be like, are you okay, mom? Are you okay, grandma? Is that food? Just like the funniest things, and like the way he says it. I have to take a video all the time because I'm like, I want to keep this forever. How he's talking. And my mom and I were both like, oh, let's keep him little forever. But we can't. We can't. That would be selfish. But yeah, he'll grow up but he's 2, so he's a little more independent, and I feel like I have, more space to create and not try to freak out so much about stuff. And my kids do good. Like, I don't have to worry about them during the day when they aren't with me. When they were littler, it's kind of hard, and then it's like you want to be with them. And even now, I mean, yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I love doing stuff like this. I love my alone time. I am a manifester. I fucking love alone time. And I'm also a 2/4 human design. Like, alone time is my jam. But yeah, I miss my kids when they're gone. It's it's like a conundrum. It's like you love the alone time, but you also miss them. But I don't ever feel guilty, that mom guilt or whatever the fuck everyone's talking about. Like, I don't feel guilty for wanting alone time. I feel like everyone wants alone time. I feel like my toddler needs alone time, and that's why she just, sometimes. Okay. Tangents. Podcast. But yeah, I mean, that's something newer about myself that, I mean, I always knew I liked alone time, but now it's just like, not all the time. I want to be alone all the time. No, I want that space for me to have alone time. And just, I feel like I've learned so much, like human design, astrology, Akashic records. Like, my fucking clairs have gotten much better than they were 2 years ago. And now, like, connecting and channeling things seems easier than it did before. And I only know that's going to continue to get better. And it's so good. So good. Like, I keep hearing, like, it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. And even though, like, this 100th episode is such a big feat, it truly is just the beginning. And I think the really big, exciting things for me. There are there are so many things that I want to do. And it's hard for me sometimes not to be like, okay, I want to be here and have all these things done. But I know I have to, start small, do one thing at a time. You can't do like 18 projects at once and expect to get it done. Everything to get done. No, we're gonna start slow and like build upon things. And it's gonna be great, and it's gonna be exactly what I needed. So 2 years ago, I was a completely different person. 3 years ago, who the fuck was that bitch? Like, oh, so vulgar. Yeah, 2 years ago, even a year ago. Like, a year ago, my son would have just been a little over 1, and I would have just stopped nursing a couple months ago, a year ago. Does that make any sense? But it's been, like I said, like, I feel like a new version of myself, and I still am peeling back layers and finding more authenticity within, relationships, and me being more myself. And it's sad sometimes, like, when you're like, oh, the old version of me, she's gone. Like, sad, but then good, because we know something better is coming for us. And you're never going to be, I don't know, if you truly believe that, the path that you're on is, what you want to do in your highest timeline, and you don't have any doubts, fears, or worries about shit, like, you are going to go down that path, and you're going to get what you want or better. Like, I totally, truly believe that. So Um, biggest lessons or challenges in the past 2 years with podcasting? I would say a little bit of the consistency. Every week posting is can get difficult. I mean, it was kind of nice this year. I switched it up, and in the month of July I did like really short 10-15 minute episodes, and I had recorded those like within 1 or 2 days and got it all teed up. I really didn't have to worry about the podcast during that month, which was actually really nice because July was a fucking weird month. That was like divinely timed. But I'm thinking about doing something like that in December too, just so it's, you as a listener, sometimes it's like you don't have the capacity to listen. Like, I don't have the capacity anymore. There was a point in time where I loved like, a certain podcast, and I would listen to every single episode every week. And like, I don't have the capacity for that anymore because I'm trying to do my own things and blah, blah, blah. So it's also nice as a listener with those like shorter kind of episodes as well. So I wanted to incorporate that more. I want to make sure every episode is like very kind of like engaging and helpful and authentic and just me being me and hopefully relatable. And oh my gosh, the confetti, you guys, it was freaking everywhere. That's what I see. And I don't know that that's like a challenge. I want to continue with the consistency and just talking about my journey and things I've found helpful. And, first I was doing this and now I'm doing this. And like I told you guys, I was doing this and blah, blah, blah. Things that are actually like things you can do. I know I personally like listening to podcasts when I can relate it to myself, where they're talking about a certain sign or human design type, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's me. That's me. I love it. And yeah, so I don't know, challenges. Sometimes I don't like how I'm talking. I don't know. I feel like I've gotten better with time and stuff. And sometimes I talk too fast, but that's okay because I'm working on it, because we also don't want to talk too slow and this whole thing. But I see this podcast continuing on, like I said, for 100, 200 more episodes at least. And because that's where that's where it's, ironically enough, a lot of the ones that I listen to, they're at like in like episodes 300 and like doing really cool shit. And that is where I want to be someday soon. But yeah, like I said, it's only going to continue to grow, and I don't know. It'd be cool to get feedback on your favorite types of episodes too, because I love doing solo episodes. I love having a guest though too. I kind of lean more on solo episodes than guests, just because obviously it is a little more work to have a guest on too. Gotta find them, gotta do all this, but the conversations are really fun. So do expect more guests. Don't worry about that. We will have more guests for sure. And yeah, the name will probably stay the same for the foreseeable future. And I'm going to be here every week on Tuesday. I like Tuesdays. Tuesday's Mars Day. And it's a productive, good day. And I just like the podcast to come out every Tuesday. So, and it has. And it's going to keep doing so. I really, 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 really appreciate you. If you've listened thus far, if this is your first episode, If you are new here, if you are an OG, I really want to just thank you for taking the time and listening to me blabber on about whatever. Um, I'm I had a couple ideas for a podcast, and then I don't know what I did, like episodes for the next couple weeks, and now I don't remember what I did with them. But I want to give you a teaser, but JK, I appreciate the people who listen and the people who share, and if there's, things that resonate, I love hearing feedback too. Like, oh my God, that episode really, spoke to me, or, I learned something new, or I might be trying to incorporate this in my life and, shedding this and blah, 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 like whatever I can do to help you, make your life more flowy, make your life be filled with ease, be filled with abundance, be filled with like knowing yourself, your authenticity, you're just like you at your soul level, and shedding and shedding and letting go of what you think you need to be, and stop trying to avoid or, cover things up in your life that you just know aren't aligning anymore. Things, habits, people, places, jobs. Like, I think you truly know on a inner knowing, conscious or subconscious level what is truly meant for you and what really isn't. And I think that we have a hard time just actually fucking listening to ourselves. And that's been one of the biggest things for me over the past 2 to 3 years as well. I have been holding on so tight to the way I thought things should be, and always wanting to be in control and micromanaging and people pleasing and blah, 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 just all this stuff that is like, no more. Like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. So it's been a hell of a journey, peeling back those layers, clearing, subconscious things that I didn't know were even there, and past life trauma, and, things with your current life and generational. And it's not like a destination, like, oh, I'm so authentic now and I'm truly myself and blah, blah, blah. Like, I could have felt like that a couple years ago, but it's like I still need to pull back the layers and learn more. And it's just like a journey. It's just like healing. Healing is definitely a journey, and you're not going to be like, oh, I'm healed and everything's great and yada yada. And it's like, you've just got to enjoy the journey. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned too, is get so wrapped up into, okay, this session or this reading or this XYZ is going to help me, and it's, my life is going to change from it. And yeah, it can in an instant, but maybe, it's going to be a series of things or events or whatever that you do to get you to a different place. And you don't want to be just like so focused on where you think you should be and forget about where you are now and enjoying what's around you right now. That's one of the biggest keys to manifestation, is just being in the current moment and being so grateful for everything that you have right now at this point in time. So, speaking of being grateful, as I said, I am so grateful for my listeners and everyone that has worked with me in the past 3 years. When did I start this thing? I'm like, when did I podcast? 2 years. I know that. The business itself will be 3 years old, which seems crazy. And during that time I had a baby. So I didn't get a lot done there. So I'm very excited just to see where like things go in the next 3 years. I think it'll be really cool. So with that being said, and it being the 100th episode, I am going to do a giveaway. So if you are listening to this, you definitely have a chance to enter. What I will be giving away is a session with me, and it's really exciting because it's actually a new type of session that I have never offered before. And so somebody gets to get a free one, but dun, da, 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 it is called the High Feminine Code. And this reading is going to be connecting you to your highest divine feminine self. There are so many different, beings and guides you can connect with. And I just think that this will be so helpful for women out there who maybe don't even know that they need this. And some of you probably do know that you need this. Like, you're so controlling. And like this, you guys, this is all me. And like, still, yes, I'm working on some of these things. And what greater way to continue this work is to help others get there as well. Just leaning into that flow of life and stop like this. Like, I picture like this in my head, like people just hanging on to dear life instead of flowing with it. But I channeled a little message before I got on here of what somebody that might need this session would need to hear. So, okay, ponder with me a moment. When did you last feel truly relaxed? Think about a time that you felt truly relaxed. When did you last feel like you truly trusted yourself? Is this a daily thing? Do you trust yourself every day? Or are there different moments that you trust yourself more than others? Do you truly trust the divine God source, the universe, whatever you want to say, that they have your back, that they have your best interest at heart, and that, the things you truly desire are coming to you? Like, do you trust in those things? Or are you micromanaging every piece of your life? Do you have to be in control, otherwise nothing gets done? Do you feel burnt out, exhausted? You were programmed this way at no fault of your own, and it's time to shed the layers back and see who you truly are at your core, and let that divine feminine rise within you to shine her light on the outside world. I, myself, needed so much of this, more of the surrender in my life, and more of just knowing that everything is working out for me. Like, I don't have to sit here and make all these decisions that I think logically you need to do, because if you're truly just like in the present moment, doing what brings you joy, helping others, being very grateful for the now, like, you're gonna be guided down the right path, and the things that don't align with you anymore are going to fall away. And the things that you do align with are going to freaking come at you like a magnet. You are going to attract different things, opportunities into your life that you wouldn't have had before if you just chill out. And so what we're going to do in this reading guided session is we're going to channel your highest divine feminine side and see where you are not like frequency matched in your life. Where are you out of alignment? Where could you let go more of? What actions do you need to take? Where, you know, where could you start today? Like, what could you start doing? And what are some things maybe you need healed or cleared, and whatever, anything can come up in this session. It's totally free game. Free game. Anything can come up. And I love that it's like it's tailored specifically to you. So if you're interested in the giveaway, how to enter will be sharing the podcast, this episode, the 100th episode, on Instagram and tagging me in it. And that will be counted towards your entry to the free session. And then I will have this giveaway. I'm thinking I'm just like, I'm knowing end of August will be, because I want to do this reading like the first week of September or something, when we get going into the Virgo season, which would have started when this podcast comes out. And I will be offering these sessions as hour-long sessions, and I will have links for that in the show notes. But if you want to try to get a free session for yourself, share this episode on Instagram and tag me in it. Very easy, very easy. And again, it's just appreciated. It's getting myself out there and what I do, what I love, and how this is going to, pan out in the future, and how my business keeps evolving, and the things that are really lighting me up right now, and how it can truly help you too. And that's the point of it all, is me sharing my gifts in order to help make the world a better place. And that's what we all need to do. Share your gift. Let your friggin' light shine so bright, so bright. And we can make the world a better place one by one by focusing on ourselves. So 100 episodes, closing out this episode. I knew I would almost talk for an hour. That is fine. Thank you again for listening, and here is to the next 100.